Dear students, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about one of the soft skills of your degree first year syllabus. That is stress management. As you are aware, the stress has become part and parcel of everybody's life, and most of the diseases that we see today are psychosomatic in nature. Almost 70% of the diseases like hypertension, diabetes, skin diseases, allergies are nothing but they are psychosomatic in nature. That means if you undergo stress for a longer time, you may undergo to depression, other psychological disorders and all that. So at the same time, you cannot escape from the stress in your life. Am I right? Whether you go for your education or for your employment or for your own personal life, everywhere you will find stress. Without stress, there is no life, my dear friends. But unlike the olden days, these days are modern days. There is a heavy competition. We are into a competitive world, and we should be in the competition. At the same time, we should take care of our both mental and physical health. That's the reason why stress management has been included in our syllabus as one of the soft skills. So this is very, very important. And you may have a question with you that I don't have any stress. But certainly I tell you, if I remember you about the examination, the moment when I say examination, don't know from where stress enters in your mind, and the days are very near to your examination. The more days are near, the more stress you experience. Moreover, you will find lot of stress during the examination time. That means whether your preparation may be sufficient or insufficient, or you may have a doubt. Though the sufficient preparation is done, same again you may have a doubt in your mind whether the things that have prepared for the examination may come in the examination or may not, or else whether I can write everything what I have prepared for the examination rightly or not. Do I remember the things properly or not? These kind of questions enter into the student's mind very naturally. So, even as a student, you too are undergoing some kind of stress. Even attending classes regularly from morning to the evening, doing your own work, preparing for your say, competitive examinations, preparing for your future, learning computers, learning other things will have great amount of stress undergoing in your mind. So, how to escape from this stress? Whatever the lesson that you are going to learn today, the things that you are going to learn today will be helpful throughout your life. So that's why this lesson is going to help you a lot. This skill is going to be help you a lot. So as I told you, skills are developed through constant practice. So you need to learn how to manage the stress. So let me share my screen to you. Today we are going to talk about stress management. Yeah. So from Department of English, I am talking. My name is Srinivas, lecturer in English. This is in your first year, second semester. So let us understand what is meant by stress. So whether really stress is essential or inessential. Certainly, normal stress is essential to perform any job, whether it is your study or even going to your college. You need to undergo some stress, otherwise you will not get prepared or see within the time, isn't it? So normal stress is essential. This we call it as eustress, which is very, very essential to perform certain job. That means when you are getting yourself prepared for the job, that means some kind of stress, that is normal stress is essential. Your body has a mechanism that whenever there is a task, whenever there is a work, certainly it will make you alert to take up that work, isn't it? So that's the reason why normal stress is required. Then what is the problem with the stress? Then the problem is when the stress levels are more, when instead of motivating you for a task, if they are, if this kind of stress is obstructing your way, if it is making you unable to perform your job well, then that kind of stress is not essential for us. So then we need to take care of it. So usually as students you have academic anxiety. So I'll start with academic anxiety, because once you are acquainted with stress and its own behavior pattern and how to deal with them, and this experience will definitely you can apply in your future activities also. Whenever you undergo stress, whether it is related to your job or with your own say career or your family life, so the same things are applicable there. So learning about your own from your own experience, I am taking as academic anxiety. What is academic anxiety? It's a kind of fear, a nervousness or apprehension about any form of academic activity, which creates excessive tension. Whether it is completing your notes, whether you are preparing for the examination, or any other thing, whatever the task that you have in your education, if it has created you an excessive tension, which is going to hinder your progress, which is going to make difficulty in doing that job, then that should be taken note of. That is what we call academic anxiety. So what will happen when this anxiety or stress enters into your mind? So let us know the physiological part of it. So as you are aware that mind is a central controlling thing in your body. So mind is connected with all vital organs of your body. If something goes wrong in your mind, naturally all your bodily organs will get affected. When you are under severe stress, you will find difficulty with your sight, difficult, there is a heavy breathing, that means heart gets affected. Your glands in the body, in the mind will get releases excessive fluids, and at the same time you may experience difficulty in breathing. That means your lungs, your abdominal, your liver, and finally even your excretive system. So if something goes wrong in your mind, what will happen? The whole of your bodily vital organs will get affected. So fear has a negative effect on the brain. So when the fear enters in your mind, what will happen? The brain releases the hormones called cortisol and adrenaline. So these hormones, stress hormones, will release certain chemicals, and that will make our memory bad, and ultimately our examination performance will come down. So how examination stress is going to affect you? Your examination stress is going to affect in 4 different ways. Number one is biological changes, that means biochemical changes, physiological changes, cognitive changes, and behavior changes. So when next there is a there are 100 million neurons in your mind, and as you are aware that each neuron is connected with the other through synapse, they pass certain neurochemicals, and through that the electric signals will pass from your mind to the all parts of your body. So when there is a biochemical changes, that excessive release or less release of hormonals, or else the neurochemical levels, then definitely because of the chemical imbalance, you will find difficulty in other ways. So you will have a change in your biochemical process. The second thing is physiological changes. As I told you that when you undergo stress, what will happen? Your heart rate will be increased, isn't it? You will find palpitations in your hand. So these kind of physiological changes will occur. Okay. And what are cognitive changes? When you are under stress, even the most prepared answers are also you will find difficulty in remembering them, isn't it? So this is where your cognition is nothing but the thinking process. That means your thinking process will get also affected because of this. And at the same time, the last one is behavioral changes. That means your behavior will also get changed. When you are under tension, when you are under anxiety or stress, what will happen? You will be more excited, isn't it? And see, you will be so hot in your behavior, isn't it? So that's why your behavioral changes will also be seen when you undergo stress. So since stress has all these four see difficult issues they are going to create in all these four areas. So what are the physical signs that you experience when you undergo stress? The first one is you will get perspiration or sweaty palms. You will have headache. You will have muscle pains. You can also see the tense in your muscles. Your stomach gets indigestion or diarrhea sometimes, either loose motion or indigestion in experience. And there may be butterflies. What are butterflies? People come to the doctor saying that I have a pain in my abdomen, but when after the examination, nowhere the pain is found. That means that the pain goes from one place to the other. Actually, there is no pain at all. This is what we call flying butterflies in the stomach. That means why it is happening? Because of the stress or anxiety, you experience that there is some kind of discomfort at one particular part of your body, that is in your stomach. It goes moving from one place to the other, but exactly there is no pain at all. These are what we call psychosomatic. As we are aware that most of the diseases, almost 70% of the diseases, physical diseases that we see are psychosomatic in nature. That means psychologically, if their mental health is imbalanced, that means if they undergo stress and anxiety, what will happen? They develop a kind of symptoms like this. Sometimes the constant stress will lead you to the hypertension, diabetes, skin diseases, allergies, and all that, isn't it? So this is the immediate impact on your physiological level. Then the fast and irregular heartbeat you will find, and overeating. Sometimes what will happen when you are under stress? You eat more, or sometimes you totally avoid eating the things. So there is an imbalance in your eating process, and also in the sleeping pattern. Also, you will find a lot of disturbance. Either you wake up late in the night, or you may go early to the bed, and but again in the middle of the night you will wake up and doesn't see go to bed again. So this kind of sleeping disturbances you will find, and your nervous physical reactions like itching of the body, scratching face, restlessness, all these are the physical symptoms that you experience when you are under stress or anxiety. So what are the intellectual symptoms that you experience? So you will have problems with remembering and recalling newly learned material. Normally during the examination time, we go for all the chapters which we have not already covered it all. So we learn a lot of new material. When you are learning a lot of new material, what will happen? You will find difficulty in remembering and recalling. When you are in a cool state, when you study something, it will be in your memory for a longer time. Mind has a process. Whatever is given to the mind with a pleasurable experience will be remain in the mind for a longer time. Whatever is attached to a pain, attached to the pain. So normally the mind feels that no, I must get away from this. So the pleasure attachment is important when you are learning the material. So when you are under anxiety, what will happen? You will find remembering the problems and remembering and recalling. Problems with logical thinking and problem solving. You will find difficulty in understanding simple instructions, like you have to see answer 5 questions, 2 questions, or A or B, whether it is a short question or a long question. You will find it difficult. The simplest things also we will make confusion. That's why many of the students in the examination either they don't write the question number, or else they may think that a short question they write a big answer, for say long answer question they write a short answer, and they don't even see go in detail that whether it is discuss or eliminate or see what you call substantiate or describe. They never find difference between them. So this is the problem that they may face. And difficulty in understanding simple instructions, inability to choose between two options, especially when you are under stress, the objective type of questions will become very difficult. And difficulty in concentration during the examination time. Even when you are writing the examination, you have to see make lot of efforts to bring back your mind to the topic and write the answer in the examination. Then delayed thought process and having to make a great effort to think. So you may not remember the things easily. So your thought process may get delayed and you need to make extra effort to remember the things. So this will happen. These are the intellectual symptoms that you experience when you are under stress. Then what are the emotional symptoms? So you feel panic, especially when feeling that there is not enough time to complete an examination. Suppose a lot of syllabus is there, you have only 1 or 2 days left to take the examination, then all that information you may not complete within the time. So you will find a lot of pressure and the feeling inadequate when negative thoughts such as I am a bad student, I am a stupid and worthless. I could have prepared myself well before the examination. So that way you start insulting yourself. You will feel that you are inadequate. You will entertain negative thoughts. Am I right? Thoughts of punishment and humiliation if you do badly in the examination. Suppose if you fail in the examination, what will happen? You want to punish yourself. Or you have to face a humiliation from your parents or your neighbors or your fellow students or in the family. So that's why these thoughts will enter into your mind. Anxiety and concern about how well you are doing compared to your fellow students. Sometimes you compare yourself with others. If others are doing well but you are not doing well, then that is a problem. See, if everybody does the same way, so that may give you some kind of console to you. But normally, when you are comparing yourself with the students who are really preparing well for the examination, certainly you have to undergo anxiety. And your feelings of pessimism and hopelessness about the outcome of the examination. You all the time worry about what will be the result of the examination, whether I may pass, whether I may get the grade that I desire. So all these things will enter into your mind and you feel so pessimistic in nature. That means you lose all your hopes and feel that you are hopeless. So these feelings of hopelessness and pessimism enters in your mind and ultimately they are going to see influence your examination performance. So what causes examination anxiety? So why do you fear for the examination? Why anxiety should be there? Because there are certain reasons. From your own experience also you can say this. For example, lack of preparation. When you have prepared thoroughly before the examination, then you never find it difficult to take the examination. Because cramming the night before the examination is too difficult. Lot of new information that you want to learn a day before the examination under so much of anxiety. Do you think that you may able to remember in the next day examination? Mostly not. So this is what the students, most of the students commit a mistake. They go for all new material a day before the examination or before the examination in the morning, see early hours before the examination. So this is that way they are not going to remember. Even the same question may come in the examination, they are unable to perform and they are unable to remember the thing. So you may not prepare before the examination, that a day before the examination, but much before the examination, if you have started preparing in a cool and a quiet manner, so naturally you can get happy. You can see remember the things very well. Then poor time management. People don't know, they waste most of their time. They really have no such intention at all. They really wanted to study. They are very committed, but they don't know how to manage the time. Time is same for Bill Gates and a beggar. The same 24 hours a day. But how you are managing the time is very, very important. That means you are managing yourself according to the time. So time management you need to learn. What time, what should be studied, how long you have to go for it, all these when to study. See, these are the important things you need to learn. And failure to organize text information. So you may be see, studying here and there in the chapter, but you never have a comprehensive view about the topic. So that is again a difficult task. And you studied here, but it is not see organized properly. That is a problem. Then ultimately, majority of the cases, it is poor study habits. Most of the students, they never check their answers before writing the examination. They just go through it and they feel that yes, I can able to write in the examination, and they make they go and write examinations straight away. That's the reason why they don't know what mistakes they are doing. If they could have done before the examination at home. If they could have checked their answers, they might have come across what mistakes they did, and they could have taken certain measures that not to be repeated in the final examination. So these are some of the reasons. And worrying about past performance and examinations. So you may have, the students may have low self-esteem. They feel that they are inadequate. Their self-efficacy levels are low because they come to that conclusion because their performance in their earlier examinations was poor. So they take it for granted that I may not perform well. I am weak in physics. I am weak in mathematics. I am weak in commerce. So this kind of attitude is going to affect them. How friends and other students are doing, that is again a kind of part, and the negative consequences of failure. So most of the time, instead of worrying over the negative consequences of failure, they could have invested that time in preparing for the examination. That way they could achieve success. So worry will never bring any success. Your action will definitely bring success. So these are the causes. Then how to cope up? Here is a formula. So what are the strategies to cope up your stress? When you are under stress, what to do? The emotion focused coping strategies. That means how is your emotion? Just observe how is your emotion. So your emotions must be cooled down first. So when you are in tense and when you are in anxiety, when you are in having a great heartbeat rate is more, then you can't learn, you cannot remember anything perfectly. See, look at my virtual background. I have carefully chosen Himalayas. Actually, it is not Himalayas, but at least in the Switzerland. So you must be so cool that you can remember everything. So the difficulty times will be there. Examinations are difficult days, but try to stay cool. When you are cool, definitely even your preparation is little less. But since you have attended classes regularly, all those things will come to your memory when you are actually taking the examinations in a cool way. So learn how to stay cool. So focus on your emotions. Okay, and get moral support. If something troubles your mind, what will happen? What do you do? You speak to your parent, or you speak to your friend, or you speak to your teacher. So these are the real people who are going to help you. Get moral support from your teachers, moral support from your parents. So that way, you see whatever in a insufficiency that you feel at your heart, people will guide you properly that no, it is happening with everybody. Don't worry about it. You put your maximum efforts, do your level best. So that way you will get motivated. And the sympathy, so when you are showing sympathy for others, then your emotions, if you are controlling, then you can get away from the stress. Venting is very, very important. What is ventilation? Suppose if the room has no ventilation, what will happen? So you will find difficulty even to see gas for the air, isn't it? So when you open your windows and there is a ventilation, certainly what will happen? The heated air will go out and you will get the fresh air and you feel comfortable, isn't it? Suppose if you are keeping all the difficulties in your mind without disclosing to anybody else, without venting your thoughts, that means disclosing your thoughts or your feelings to somebody else, then what will happen? You will be full with all such heated thoughts and also the more emotional things with you. So venting is a best option for you. Troubles come to human being only, and your job is to escape from the trouble. That means you can't escape, but you have to face the trouble. So what is the best way? The best way is to ventilate. That means talking to your own parents, your teachers, your friends, or your well-wishers. Say what is happening to you. They will guide you in a right way. Then positive reinterpretation. So normally we have a tendency of looking things in a negative way. This is what we call a cognitive distortion. We have distorted ways of looking at the things or taking the things. So be happy and take everything in a positive way. So whatever is happened is happened. You cannot change that event. but your interpretation must be, you have to reinterpret that in a positive way, so that you will take the things easily, and you can pick up the strength and go forward. So that way, this is also is going to help you when it is with the emotion focused strategy. And your behavioral disengagement, that means whatever you are doing, this is for every action, for every say result, so there must be some behavior pattern. So if you behave like this, the result will come. If you wake up 7 o'clock in the morning every day, the result will be different. If you are waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, the results will be different. That means whatever you may be having procrastination or laziness with, or waking up 7 o'clock, going to studies at a later time. Instead of that, if you can plan thoroughly, wake up early and all that. So whatever earlier behavior you have, if you are disengaged with that and engaged with a new behavior pattern, then definitely this is going to help you a lot. So observe your behaviors, observe your feelings, whatever troubles in your mind, ventilate before others. If a situation takes place, interpret in a positive way, and whatever behaviors that you are having, change those behaviors. This way you are going to face, manage your stress. Then mental disengagement, that means distraction. Suppose you are studying for a very longer time, and your mind get heated. You are unable to focus anymore. Then take a small break and do some activity of your own choice. If you want to play a flute, you can do it. If you want to watch television for some time, you can do it. So the distraction will definitely help you to come back to your main track. So mental disengagement will also help you. Distraction will also help you. So don't worry, the things will be definitely difficult, but you have to follow these strategies to cope the stress. Then I tell you, positive thinking is very, very essential. So get away from the thought that I can't do it. You break that I can't do it. You say I can do it. Whatever it is. When something is possible to somebody else, why not to you? Certainly it is going to take a shape. Only thing is, you need to make the required amount of exercise, required amount of work in a right direction, you are going to achieve success. That's all. If you are facing a failure, don't think that you are inadequate. No, you have not followed a procedure, you have not seen a right path, and you have not made enough efforts. That's why you are a failure. If you are making good efforts, certainly you are going to become a success. Understand? So this you need to learn. So whenever you are whenever you are looking at the things, all the time think positive. Whenever you are speaking, speak positive. But every minute of your life, you must live positive. So when you are in the cycle, this is what you call virtuous cycle. When you think that I can do it, that will motivate you to do for something. When you achieve some success, it will definitely enhance your ability of feeling of self-esteem. With that self-esteem, you will take a much bigger challenge. So this is a kind of virtuous cycle. So you must go all the time in the virtuous cycle that I can do it. Success, motivation, go for a bigger job, get success, then do it. So this is the cycle that you should always be in. So think positive, speak positive, and live positive. Then believe is strength. That means we have students. Many of you are well prepared before the examination, but still you have a kind of doubt in your mind whether I can perform well in the examination or not. This happens with some of the students. That means if you believe that you are strong and successful, you will be. If you believe that you are weak and failure, you are. Both are right. Who said? Swami Vivekananda said, everything is within. If you believe you are strong, you are strong. If you believe that you are weak, you are weak. So if your preparation is enough, feel that all my preparation, the amount of time that I spent on my preparation will never go away. Certainly I am going to take the examinations in a right way. So that way, if you reinforce your belief system, ultimately the entire world runs on the belief system only. If you lose belief, or your confidence, then certainly you are gone. So that's why all the time, see, have a strong belief system. Then what are the stress management techniques? So breathing is a very beautiful, see, technique to manage your stress. Everybody knows how to, see, take a breathing exercise. Take a slow and steady long breathe inside, inhale and exhale it quietly for a short time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Then take a long breathe, inhale and slowly leave it out, exhale. So if you are doing it for 5 to 10 minutes, then definitely your breathing pattern will be stabilized. When your breathing pattern is stabilized, what you are doing, so the neurochemical levels will be stabilized, so that you can get away from the stress and all that. And the thought stopping, suppose if some thought comes to your mind, within the mind, say loudly that stop it, because it is useless, this is not going to help me in any way. So when you are not giving appreciation for the thought, naturally your mind feels that no, this man doesn't allow this thought at all. So that's why your thoughts will stop slowly. Then positive self-talk. So don't say that I'm a useless fellow, I'm worthless, and so you may have a negative feeling with you. But instead of that, have a positive self-talk. So early morning when you are waking up, you have to give a positive affirmations to your mind that today I'm going to be happy in my life. So I'm very successful person. I can succeed in the examination. I'm a success. Such kind of positive talk when you all the time entertain, and especially when you are waking up or when you are, see, you can also willingly do at any particular time of your day, sitting quietly and calmly and see, giving auto suggestions to your mind. The positive self talk will definitely help you. Then the other technique is visualization. That means as if you are, suppose you are taking an examination. Feel that you are entering into the examination hall quietly and calmly. You sat down there, you took the examination paper, you have seen all the questions that you have see, you can able to answer them very well. So you are peacefully writing one after the other. You wrote all the questions. Happily you are coming out of it. If you are visualizing what you are doing, you are giving your mind a map that you make me like this. So certainly you will feel happy. So this way also you can get away from the stress. And the sky walking, so your body and your mind has a relation. When you look at the sky and walk, what will happen? You feel happy. When you see, bend your see head and look at your look at the earth and walk for some time, or sit all alone sitting in your chair, then what will happen? Sometime later, either you go to sleep or else you feel sad, isn't it? So sky walking is a beautiful technique. You just go out of it from your house, from your room, look at the sky and walk for some time. So looking at the sky, walking for some time, definitely see, release the better say chemicals which will help you to make you happy, getting you relief from the stress. So that way, sky walking is extremely helpful to you. Then the next thing is the music. So everybody is a music lover. You may not be a musician, you may not be a composer, you may not have the every note of the music and all that. But still, as human beings, we within ourselves will sing certain things, isn't it? So music has no language at all, no boundaries at all. So if you are listening to the soft music or instrumental music or a play music, then definitely this music therapy is also there. But music is also going to help you. But if you are going for jazz and all other things which are not accustomed to them, with see strong beats and all that, you will find difficulty to concentrate. So whatever is pleasing to your mind and heart, then listen to them. So it is also going to give you some kind of peace to your mind. This is also one of the techniques of stress management. So I have cited you some 6 techniques here. Any one of them you can practice, or some of them, sometimes all of them. Okay. And again, the other thing is what kind of food that you should take to avoid stress. The lighter the meal, the better your see mind and body. That means you have to take see lighter meals at frequent intervals, not just in the afternoon and also in the night having lunch and dinner. Heavy lunch and dinner is not sufficient. Don't overload your body. Okay, all over your stomach. So take in small amounts, 3 to 4 times a day in small amounts. The same meal, if you are breaking it into two parts, and with some time duration, maybe 3 to 4 hours duration, if you are taking, everything is good because your body is supplied continuously with the food. So you will never feel difficult. Okay, take more liquids and easily digestible foods. The more spicy foods, the more see excitement that you can observe in your body. So the more liquids that you are taking, the more comfortable you feel. The more solids are there, you feel your body is a heavy thing for you. Then sleep is very very important because 6 to 7 hours of good sleep is necessary if at all you want to have a sound mind. That means if at all you want to get away from stress, so try to sleep more time. Then pause a few minutes in relaxation after every working session. That means don't continuously sit for 4 hours 5 hours at a stretch. You go for your studies for 45 minutes and an hour, take some 5 to 10 minutes break, come back again and repeat that. So that way you can even go for 12 to 14 hours or 15, 16 hours a day with the small breaks. If you are continuously at a stretch, if you are working, maybe you may be working in the morning, but few days later or in the afternoon, you may feel sleepy or you may feel that it is a tiresome exercise. So you may leave it in the middle. So some food habits also you need to be more focused. Take more water because your mind needs oxygen. So where do you get what is the best source of oxygen? Water is the best source of oxygen. The more you take water, the more oxygen your brain is getting. So that way you will be cool. So as you are all aware that what is the purpose of the examination? The purpose of the examination is to test you. So you have to get yourself prepared well before the examination. Don't worry about the examination at all. So take these things to your consideration, work it out properly, establish a procedure, follow them, then practice them. The more that you practice, the more successful you will become. And once you have learned this art of managing the stress, and this skill is going to be with you till the end of your life, and I am sure that you can handle any kind of stress once you are accustomed to it. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best.